Traits of effective leadership. What makes a workplace inviting? It is not just about the environment itself, but the people within the dynamic that make a difference. Leadership is not just a title or position, but a way of engaging with others. Ideally, a company should have leaders at every level of the organisation to encourage growth from within. As demographics of the workplace shift over time, it is crucial to adapt and elevate a variety of minds towards leadership positions. New voices bring new perspectives, spark innovation, and create a spirit of belonging amongst the staff. More diversity in leadership helps people feel represented and encourages your workforce to reach its full potential. A thriving business grooms its future leaders and hones their skills. But what traits should you look for, encourage, and promote? We focus on 6 primary behaviours in this series: curiosity, awareness of bias, courage, belonging and safety, engagement and inspiration, and gratitude. What members of your organisation question norms? Who stands out as someone excited to learn and grow? Can you think of a person who actively listens and learns about the viewpoints of others? These are your curious thinkers. Bias may be inevitable. However, finding individuals who push past those limitations and explore blind spots in their judgment and others is a trait of an effective leader. Demonstrating courage happens in a variety of ways. We nurture courage by promoting and supporting those who are allies of others. We celebrate the courage of those who bolster the underrepresented and speak up, even when they are vulnerable. An effective leader must promote belonging and safety at every level throughout an organisation. By fostering an ecosystem of honesty, risk and rewards, and acceptance, leaders advocate for their team and voices. Of course, an effective leader is engaging and inspiring to those they work with. They can pinpoint the strengths of their staff and can organise a team to work harmoniously together. An effective leader's vision and hands-on approach should inspire those around them. Last but certainly not least is the trait of gratitude. An effective leader celebrates each step of a project and their team's contribution, and they give this gratitude generously and provide value to their team's hard work. How can your company pinpoint leaders within your organisation? How can you recognise the hard work and efforts of your team? Is there a variety of these kinds of leaders already employed? We urge you to consider these traits as you chart your path towards more inclusivity and diversity within your leadership dynamics. Curiosity. A curious mind is constantly exploring, searching for answers and insights into the world around them. It may have killed the cat, but curiosity is a top behavioural trait of the world's most influential and effective leaders. The more we question the status quo, the more we inspire innovative thinking and solutions. Inquisitive minds examine our commonalities and unique characteristics, not for judgment, but for optimism and to chart new courses. The more open-minded our leaders are today, the more likely we are to find solutions and adaptive measures to problems we face tomorrow. There cannot be sustainable organisational growth without supporting those willing to ask questions and search for answers. We celebrate this trait because curiosity leads us to examine our deeply rooted worldviews and the context in which we develop those mindsets. Does your workforce include people from all walks of life? The curious leader seeks out diversity to ensure inclusivity, discover perspectives, and ask questions that encourage authenticity. The world is constantly changing, and curiosity allows us to adapt past lessons to create a more inclusive and resilient future. 3 things to think about regarding curiosity in leadership. 1. Do you promote others' perspectives and consider them as valuable as your own? 2. How do you explore similarities and differences within your workforce? 3. Does the company culture encourage curiosity to achieve safety, significance, and belonging? Here are 3 things you can begin today to support company curiosity. 1. Help your team recognise and value each other's commonalities and unique perspectives. 2. Maximise those aspects of your team to achieve organisational goals. 3. Provide opportunities to explore and question organisational and personal values to find alignment. Awareness of bias. Our development is restricted and enhanced by our education and experiences as humans. Though we cannot learn or live through everything, that does not excuse us from acknowledging that biases form from these foundational interactions. Bias is simply a calculation or assumption based on learned information or behaviours of others around us. It can range from simple preferences to discrimination, so it is important to note that not all biases are equal. Someone's bias need not to be hateful or hurtful, yet can be when taken to extremes. It is frequently unconscious behaviour. However, we should not simply disregard these biases, but seek to understand them and challenge our thinking. When we acknowledge that bias exists, we avoid falling upon bad habits, decisions, or points of view that have no real place in business. The beautiful thing about the human condition is that we can change, grow, and bloom into different levels of insight and awareness. Life is full of change, and when we remind ourselves of how adaptable we are, we can see that bias is a hurdle to overcome, not a path-changing detour. We are responsible for our own minds. Influential and effective leaders make themselves aware of their biases to confront them head-on. This awareness is an active process that requires self-reflection, goals, and value clarification. While bias and blind spots may not necessarily be our faults, it is our responsibility to recognize them and make adjustments. Here are 3 things to think about regarding bias awareness. 1. Recognize that everyone has a bias. It is part of being human. 2. You are responsible for actively addressing those instincts and feelings. 3. Being aware of our bias leads to greater engagement and effectiveness with others. Now, here are 3 things you can do today to help challenge yourself. 1. Recognize that discovering your bias requires awareness, desire, knowledge, accountability, and practice. 2. Johari's window is an excellent resource to engage others for their feedback, share perspectives, and build stronger relationships. 3. This process requires humility. We have much to learn from each other. Leading with courage. Courage is not the absence of fear or worry, but the inner strength to rise to the occasion despite those feelings. We often celebrate courage in this world, but perhaps our internal definition of courage needs re-evaluating. We often admire first responders and soldiers, the people who run straight into danger, as the most courageous among us. However, courage appears in small moments when we tell someone the truth, acknowledge our faults and vulnerabilities, or carry on with difficult conversations for others' best interests. Courage develops through frequent practice during periods of calm. We teach small children to stop, drop, and roll if they find themselves aflame, so they know what to do. We practice these skills to create a strong instinct for courage when the time presents itself. The more a good habit becomes muscle memory, the more likely it will be successful. Today, it takes courage to address diversity and inclusion because so many people feel uncomfortable having these conversations. People fear retribution for thoughts or do not want to offend others. It also takes courage to break the habits of unconscious behaviours or biases regarding hiring, promotions, and even our day-to-day interactions with people. There are a few things to consider when it comes to leading with courage. 1. Courage is a skill developed over time with practice, relationship building, and understanding that we are not alone. 2. Routines form habits, so forming and incorporating a positive diversity routine is critical. 3. Your willingness to make change leads to positive routine changes, which become habits and eventually shape your character. What can you do to become a more courageous leader? 1. Be proactive, not reactive, in developing a diversity and inclusion elevator speech, and prepare for tough questions. 2. Prepare for unwanted or harmful comments regarding diversity issues with knowledge, compassion, and assertiveness. 3. Ensure your diversity stance is reflected in the company's value systems and prepare to communicate the support of those values with action. Promote belonging and safety. Belonging is one of a few basic human emotional needs. When people feel excluded in society, isolation and resentment build. Then there are some of our other needs, like safety and significance. Effective leaders understand this level of human psychology enough to value a peaceful and secure working environment for their team. When people feel calm, content and included, they are far more likely to engage the creative sides of their minds, spurring innovation, problem solving and team building. Effective leadership promotes all voices and values inclusion. When we allow microaggressions, political correctness, or cancel culture to run rampant in our work environment, we stifle the very energy we long to develop. Instead of harmony and collaboration, these unpleasant forces drive silence, fear and hurt, leading to dissatisfaction and turnover. Consider your ideal workplace. Chances are toxic conversations and dismissive behaviours are not part of our vision. An effective leader will create a safe space among their team, an atmosphere of authenticity and acceptance where one can engage in a dissenting opinion without fear of judgment or hostility. Because dissent does not equal a desire for argument. It requires open and honest conversation and debate. People willingly follow a leader who encourages respectful debate and discussions. Some points to consider regarding belonging and safety. 1. When you look out for your staff's well-being, they will reward that thoughtfulness with a good attitude and respect and are often willing to work harder. 2. Influential leaders are responsible for promoting and empowering all voices, majority and minority, within the workplace. This practice helps ensure varied perspectives and effective decision-making. 3. Successful leaders must denounce microaggressions and toxic behaviour quickly before it spreads throughout the organisation and undermines the team's efforts. Now here are a few steps you can take to promote belonging and safety. 1. Have open and honest conversations with your staff about how to gain significance, belonging and safety in their groups or teams. 2. Create expectations for handling complex topics, conflicts and disagreements to manage and address them promptly. 3. Provide anonymous survey opportunities for pulse checks to ensure everyone feels heard. Engage and inspire. Actions speak louder than words. The most effective leaders understand it is not just what they say, but what they do that defines them. To engage and inspire a team is to meet them at their level. One must not only have a bright vision for the future, but a workable and inclusive plan to get them there. What are some of the unique traits and characteristics of your team? Have you shared your goals and visions for the company or department with them? People love a common goal, and when you have fostered an environment where people can communicate safely and comfortably with you, they will share their thoughts on reaching those goals. That is inspiring. That is what drives people to reach their full potential. It is crucial to seek out multiple views and build diverse teams so you can learn and grow from one another. Is there someone with helpful information or valuable experience who is an asset? Without engaging with all your team, you may never know how much help someone could be. A few things to ask yourself and reflect upon. 1. Are your actions aligned with your words? Are you walking the walk, as they say? People will hear what you say, but watch what you do. 2. Have you set a clear path towards your goals and vision? Having a direction excites and energizes a team. 3. If you are looking to motivate those around you, the best route is to connect your values to your vision. This leads to respect and ultimately inspiration. Need an action plan? Consider these steps. 1. Create feedback loops for team members to add their perspectives and contribute to the overall strategic plan. 2. Create and share a clear vision, goal, and tasks to get there with your team. 3. Empower your staff through shared resources, educational opportunities, and individual development plans to help them reach their potential and achieve organizational goals. Give gratitude. What is gratitude? In this context, we define gratitude as recognizing and honoring a person's hard work and efforts in conducting any given task. Someone has put in the time, effort, and energy to complete an assignment to their best abilities. and effective leaders will always recognize these efforts. If microaggressions or toxic behaviors run rampant, leaders will see efforts plummet throughout the organization. People cannot work to their highest potential if they feel unsafe, attacked, or otherwise uncomfortable in their situation and position. You get the best work from people when they are calm, happy, and confident. We build positive relationships by eliminating microaggressions and supporting each other with appreciation and gratitude. We generate gratitude by recognizing success and overcoming previous barriers like political divides, cross-cultural conflicts, and disrespect. Keep in mind that everyone views gratitude differently. While some prefer a simple personal thank you, others may appreciate encouragement towards further education, experience, or a pathway towards a promotion. We often rely on the golden rule when we think about gratitude: treat others like you would like to be treated. However, we urge you to update that golden rule to the platinum rule, which asks us to treat others as they would like to be treated. We are all different, but at our core, we all want similar things, such as safety, significance, and belonging. Treat each team member as they want to be treated, and you will establish loyalty, respect, engagement, and an effective workforce. Things to consider. 1. Do you find ways to recognize achievements for your team? 2. Are there any disengaged staff who could benefit from more personal interaction? 3. Not everyone wants public praise. It can be unsettling for some. Remember to consider the human you are trying to give gratitude to and how they may want recognition. Here are a few things you can do. 1. During review periods, be sure to discuss how each individual prefers to receive appreciation. 2. Ensure your team's positive environment by reducing conflict, microaggressions, and bad attitudes through open dialogue and communication. 3. Remember to express gratitude regularly. Positivity breeds more positivity after all.